Ronnie Cowan.
Thank you very much, Mr Deputy Speaker. Norway's been mentioned a lot this afternoon, hasn't it? And I had the good fortune to visit Norway last week, and I met with representatives from Parliament, government, academia, civil service, trade unions, NGOs. I was struck by the way in which they worked together with respect and trust to create a better Norway for everyone. Had I suggested to them that they were too small to be an independent nation and that they would be better sharing their governance or their financial levers with their Scandinavian neighbours, they would have laughed me out of the room. And I noticed that none of the Unionist MPs on the trip with me asked that question either. Strange how that respect is afforded to Norway, but not Scotland. Norway, a small, northern, European, independent sovereign nation of 5 million people. Of course, Norway have alliances with other countries within which they cooperate, but all that is negotiated between equals who respect each other. Norway became independent in 1905 and has never looked back. They have experienced some tough times, but Norwegians took on the problems and Norwegians solved them. That's how normal countries work. It reminded me of Hugh MacDiarmid's poem, Scotland, small, or multiform, or infinite Scotland, small, only as a patch of hillside, maybe a cliché corner to a fool who cries, nothing but heather. When in September, another sitting there and resting and gazing around sees not only the heather, but blaeberries, with bright green leaves already turned scarlet, hiding ripe blue berries. And amongst the sage-green leaves of the bog myrtle, the golden flowers of tormental shining. And on the small bare places where little black-faced sheep found grazing, milkworts blue as summer skies. And down in neglected peat hags, not worked in a living memory, sphagnum moss in pastel shades of yellow, green and pink, sundew and butterwort waiting with wide-open sticky leaves for their tiny winged prey, and nodding harebells vying in their colour with the blue butterflies that poise themselves delicately upon them, and stunted rounds with harsh dry leaves of glorious colour. Nothing but heather, how marvellously descriptive and incomplete. Because, Mr Deputy Speaker, that is how it works. If the Unionists think Scotland is too small, then they make it so, because of their crushing lack of ambition and confidence in themselves and their fellow Scots. But don't enforce a dystopian vision of an impoverished Scotland on me. I choose MacDiarmid's view of a flourishing Scotland over the barren views of the Unionists any and every day of the week. So maybe ask yourselves why Scotland hasn't voted for the Conservatives and Unionists in any significant numbers since 1955. Among the statistics that outline Scotland's wealth and, importantly, its potential, it is interesting to note that we are actually 61% of the seawater of the United Kingdom and have the majority of natural gas, crude oil, coal reserves, timber production and so on. Not what you'd expect for a country that is told that it is dependent on Westminster, that we are too poor to be independent. But as we transition away from fossil fuels, there are two figures which interest me more. Scotland has over 25% of all the wind and wave energy potential in Europe. That's where our energy will come from as part of our clean, green, renewable energy package, providing for today's needs while safeguarding the future for generations to come. And the second figure is that Scotland has 90% of all the UK's surface fresh water, 90%, where the economists predict that water will be the new oil. We have more water in Loch Ness than all of England and Wales combined. In Scotland, we have 31,000 freshwater lochs. That equates to Scotland having about 100 times more water than it uses. We can be self-sufficient in beef, sheep, dairy, pigs, cereal, potato. We're not too poor. We must not be allowed ourselves to be drawn down into the poverty mindset of the Scottish Unionist parliamentarians. Their poverty of aspiration does not reflect the economy of an independent Scotland. It reflects their desire to maintain a status quo and scare the people of Scotland into compliance. Complying with a UK government that has shown itself to be economically illiterate, out of touch with the needs of the majority of the people, and only interested in the inner machinations of their own party. But there is only one way in which Scotland can experience the benefits of our own resources, and that is when all political decisions made for the people of Scotland are made by the people of Scotland. Only one path that leads to greater ownership and responsibility. Only one outcome that provides the autonomy and the power required to grow and develop a vibrant, inclusive and sovereign nation. And that is independence from the corrupt and moribund United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. With an independence referendum, we have an opportunity to re-establish an independent nation and, importantly, design that nation. We have all the financial levers. Together we can design welfare, banking, taxation, land ownership, foreign policy, defence, education, energy, health and transport in a fashion and to a standard that we feel fitting and appropriate, built by Scotland for all of Scotland. A wind of change is blowing, and it will bring with it a nation full of hope and ambition, opportunity, respect, cooperation and equality. It is up to everyone who believes that Scotland must be a free, independent, sovereign nation, if it is to reach its potential, to work together to achieve that aim. If we allow ourselves to become fractionalised and as a force we are beaten, we must keep our eyes on the prize and we shall achieve our goal.